So we're looking at conservative and non-conservative forces. So the basic idea over here is how we can classify is work that we are able to store the energy entirely and recover it when needed is conservative force. When we can't, it is non-conservative force. That's the basic agenda. Basic thing actually, not agenda. Basic thing. A force is said to be a conservative force if after we work with it, the energy is stored completely. For example, your gravity. If we happen to apply a force of say a certain amount and we gain a potential energy of or energy of 10 joules, that 10 joules of work is recoverable. That energy can be recovered from that system itself. So that is to do with your conservative force. Non-conservative force example is your friction. So if I push something and leave it on a rough surface, the object does not move, right? So let me put it this way. There's difference also, but I think I'll go with this. So I have two diagrams over here. Actually there's only one, but I'll make that two. Scenario A. I have an object. This is a road, and on the road I pushed it from point A to point B. I moved it from A to B. Okay, guys. On a rough road. On a flat, rough road. And I leave it. After I push it, slowly I leave it. What will happen? It will stay at rest. Okay. So we started over here. We ended over here. And here too it's at rest. What happens? It will stay at rest. Now, I have the same box. So instead of this, I think I have it. Yeah. So instead of making it go horizontally, I'll make it go vertically. So now this is my point A and this is my point B. Same thing is happening. I'm pushing it. That's my start. That's my end. Now what happens? When I let it go, what happens? When I let it go, it will fall down. It will start to fall. Right? So what is happening? Why is it falling? Fall means movement. Movement means force. I mean, there has to be some force. Right? Something that was at zero. Actually, movement does not mean force. Change in movement or change in status of motion. Change in motion. State of the motion means there has to be a force. And where is this force? Well, I am not pushing it. So it is the force from the gravity. And if you are able to, measure all of this, right? If you had pushed and you say you did a work of 10 joules, you will be able to recover over here. Recovered 10 joules. Okay, you'll be able to recover 10 joules over here. So such a scenario wherein you're able to recover is conservative force. And this is not a conservative force. Of course, conservative force is what we're looking at now. But yeah, eventually we will actually here also we'll see few problems wherein things are not conservative, and we have actually. So it's not a difficult thing. If you guys feel that it looks kind of complicated, it is, but if you think systematically, then it becomes easy. Okay, so let's look at few differences. So quantity, conservative, non-conservative, that is your column heading. Row, we have displacement, path, closed path, example. Now, displacement, conservative force, its displacement, conservative force is dependent on displacement. Non-conservative force depends on the distance. Friction, for example. So if I want to slow something down, right? Will this path help or this path help? Right? Since it takes a longer distance to reach point A to point B, this path will slow us down than this. Both will slow us down, but the amount of slow will increase as the path increases. So it depends on the distance. This is path independent. We have a derivation per se for this. So what is this path independent? I'll explain. Non-conservative force, it's dependent. Like since it's dependent on the distance, so the non-conservative force depends on the path. In a closed path, the conservative force gives us no work. Non-conservative force gives us non-zero work. Work is non-zero, sorry. My bad. Example is all of this. Example of non-conservative force is friction, viscosity, and all of that. Okay, there are quite a few points that we'll be discovering, but I'll give you a rough idea. See, displacement, it depends. Right? For me, I'll give you guys, I'll explain it this way. How I reach this point, will it make a difference? End of it will fall from that. If I reach it in this manner also, it will fall from that space, If I reach it in this manner also, it will move from point A to point B. It will just fall. Nothing else is happening. So the fall will not depend on how you reached point A, point B. Do you guys agree? If I hold a phone at a particular height, will the damage see how you guys moved to that point? No, right? The fall can happen. You can just let it go. It might slip the hand, or intentionally a small kid, without understanding, the kid can let go from the same height. There's so many possibilities. It can fall from your pocket at from that height. End of it, if everything is the same, every aspect of the fall is the same. If the phone damages, it will damage in the same exact manner. Same exact is one and the same. In exactly the same manner. Okay, you guys understand that, right? The damage will look the same. So that's why it is path independent. It just depends on the displacement, at what height you are holding the phone at. If I happen to take the box from point A to point A itself, if I let it go, what happens? It'll just stay there. Even though we kind of did some work according to us, because we came back to the same point, the gravity, the energy gained and also lost actually. So the gravitational potential energy will not change because the height has not changed. So closed path, there is no work. But when it comes to non-conservative force, work is done. Work is non-zero. That we have seen in frictional concept actually, sliding a box up and down. So there I told that since it's conservative force in one of the numericals, if you guys remember, since it's conservative force and we are coming back to the same point, the potential energy is zero. While the other force, that is the frictional force, is non-conservative. Basically, it's eating up and goes off, guys. As simple as that. Friction eats up your force, energy, and it dissipates in form of heat and breakage and stuff like that. So energy is consumed in some manner. And once it's gone, it's gone. Okay. So example is gravitational, electrostatic, elastic force of a spring. All the things that you guys have seen in your childhood and you've played with, all of those are your examples of conservative force. And of course, non-conservative force is what makes life possible when you're on the road, on the cycle and everything, right? That is one. So in that manner, actually everything is experiential. Everything can be experienced over here. So it's just a matter of commitment. Okay. Yeah. Please copy this. Please copy this as well. So all of those points will make sense as in when we do numericals. And I think I wrote something that is, path related. I think this is good enough, right? Everything else you can make a note on your own.